But the cat's out the bag. The Manosphere is now mainstream, and this Fresh and Fit situation did not help. I was on Fox Soul TV earlier today, and they asked me about Fresh and Fit. But what's happening now? Just like the white feminists in the academy are writing articles about what's happening in the white manosphere and trying to get pages taken down and getting Reddit things removed, now that same target is going to be placed on black men in the black manosphere. And we have to ask ourselves, do we value this space? Do we value the golden goose, or do we don't care about the golden goose and we want to get all the eggs, the golden eggs out of it while we can? And then once it's done, fuck it, I made my money. But now, once again, black men don't have a voice. Black men have to go find another deep pocket somewhere in the internet, or I guess we'll be somewhere in the metaverse and Web 3.0. You know, you'll see a bunch of men standing around with their goggles on, just a whole section of men angry at women. You know what I mean? Like, but, you know, for Harriet, I've written articles condemning her. This is the woman who, you know, wrote the article about, you know, she doesn't feel bad. I don't know if she said she don't feel bad about Eric Garner. I think the article was why she won't be marching for Eric Garner. So this lady is an op, but she's also an opportunist. She's an opponent, but she's also an opportunist. So she put out a whole video, deplatform Fresh and Fit immediately, right? So they're beating the war drum, right? Because it's not just going to stop at Fresh and Fit, right? Fresh and Fit going to hit the hit Wesley Snipes when he from New Jack City. I ain't going down by myself. If I'm going down, I know a whole lot of brothers. Brother Kareem, the educated brother from the bank. You know what I mean? I'm taking all you niggas with me. I mean, that's what it's about to be. So Fresh and Fit, if you think for 1 minute that once they get hit, that they're going to say, hey, all these men in the manosphere are making the same points, we're being unfairly targeted. I'm just saying it is what it is. But, you know, the manosphere has mainstreamed. There's a YouTube creator, Real Talk with Yanni is her name. Now, there are women who've created, what's the word I'm looking for? Petitions to have Fresh and Fit removed. Real Talk with Yanni is on Twitter, adding YouTube on Twitter, asking them to remove Fresh and Fit. And me personally, I don't like censorship. As a black male, as a black nationalist, as a Pan-Africanist, I think that we've had our voices censored the most. So I don't censor anybody. Everybody can talk, but I will check anybody as well. You understand what I'm saying? But what I'm not going to be your attack dog. People always try to treat people like me as their attack dog. As a Pan-Africanist, whenever somebody in ADOS says something crazy, you got the Pan-Africanists coming to me like, hey, did you see what they said? Or as you know, or if a black immigrant says something crazy, the ADOS people come to me like, yo, you see what they said? And now that I'm being critical of black voices in the manosphere, or being critical of certain voices in the women's sphere, is like, hey, did you shit? Like, no, I'm not nobody's fucking attack dog. You're not about to have me running around the internet like barking at everybody. That's not like what the fuck I'm here to do. But the point I'm making is that the cat's out the bag, and people are now pushing for censorship. They're pushing to have people deplatformed, and this is a real issue, right? Everything that these women can say in a petition about Kevin Samuels or Fresh and Fit, the same exact thing can be said about Cynthia G or Nala Says, right? The same exact thing can be said about Paris Milan. So it's like, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So I'm not running to white people to have people's platforms removed. I'll never do it. I won't do it. I don't want my audience members doing it. It just is what it is. But I'm just saying, do we want to protect this space or not? Right. So in closing, I have a few recommendations. Y'all do me a favor. I'll give y'all permission to cut this part up, send it to O'Shea, because he's one of the organizers or leaders in the space. But I have a few recommendations for how this space, as it evolves and grows and matures, how it can be protected. Right. So a lot of y'all may have missed this, but over the Christmas holiday, there was a white man. What was this guy's name? His name was Roman McClay. Now, Roman McClay is a very known author and white manosphere personality. He's spoken at the 21 Studios convention, I believe, a few times. And Roman McClay pretty much acted out on what he said he was going to do, what he's been saying he's going to do for a long time. Over the Christmas holiday, he went and shot up and killed a bunch of women. Now, the white manosphere got right in front of it. Anthony Dream Johnson, who refers to himself as the president of the manosphere, the white manosphere, He put out a press release. It says, for immediate release, statement by Anthony Dream Johnson, first president of the Manosphere, on recent events regarding Jack Murphy and Roman McClay mass murder in Colorado. So he put out a whole 5-page press release to try to get in front of this thing. Why? Because this dude who just killed all these women was a significant enough personality in the white manosphere, and he's spoken at manosphere conferences. So my recommendations are this: how to protect and evolve the space. The first thing I would recommend people doing, if you have a growing platform, host a meeting of the mods on a quarterly basis. And maybe we as a collective can determine what the instructions will be that we give to all of our mods. Like if you see certain language or certain talking points, time people out the first time, the second time, block them, delete certain comments, bring the comments to the the view of the content creator, so the content creator can say from their bully pulpit, like, yo, that type of stuff ain't cool here. If you're going to talk like that, you got to bounce. But what we can't do is we can't encourage it, and we can't allow it to flourish. I'm saying this if you desire to see the space stay and not be shut down, because we're all on somebody else's platform. They can shut this shit down at any fucking day. And we have internal enemies within our group who want to see it shut down. So right now, the feminists are chopping at the bits, like, oh yeah, let's shut their shit down. I don't want to see the space shut down. I want to have a conversation. I've always said I value this space. I came here because I wanted to have a conversation with Black men about the state of Black manhood, right? I'm just saying that as a Black man, maybe the space is growing. Let's show that we can self-govern. Let's show that we can move as a body and that we can manage our constituency. Let's do that. Because you see Anthony Johnson, he's like, as the first president of the Manosphere, he put out a whole press release, right? What are we doing? I appreciate my brother O'Shea creating content condemning Rajay Black, but O'Shea took a big hit for that. The Manosphere did not appreciate O'Shea coming out against Rajay Black. Rajay Black is a hero. So it's like, yo, the tide has to be turned. We can't allow the tail to continue to wag the dog. If the space is going to grow and evolve and be protected and be a place where Black men can generate income, where Black men can build connections, where Black men can heal and develop support groups and networks that go beyond just online and into the real world, then we have to protect it. And this shit, this toxic shit it's not good. It's not Gucci, right? So that's the first thing. Maybe consider hosting a meeting of the mods, like on a quarterly basis, where you have all, if you're a mod on my channel, these are the 3 options for you to meet during quarter 1. If you don't show up to any of these meetings, I'm removing your wrench. You'll no longer have a mod on my channel. That just is what it is, because you're not going to be a mod on my channel and you don't have the training to moderate. I'm not saying you have to censor people in my chat, but certain shit is just not going to be in my chat. So that's the first recommendation. The second recommendation is that we have to remove some of the emotion from the dialogue. We have to bring in cooler heads to give context to the situation, right? I shared a video on my community tab recently, and y'all can go check it out. There's a white, I believe he's a psychologist, did an excellent video about sexual economic theory. But he has lots of videos about incels and MGTOW, but he comes at it from a scientific and scholarly basis removed from emotion. I think we could use more of that in the Manosphere, because even some of the scholars, you can kind of like hear the disdain for women in their arguments. I don't know what their experience has been with women. I can admit that a lot of them probably have not been positive, and I get that. But we cannot ignore the dangers of certain things in this space. So I think that bringing in more voices, bringing in more experts to talk about it, but also bringing in diverse opinions. Like, you got to break the echo chamber. You can't have all the scholars are in agreement that Black women ain't shit. It's like, really? Like, we don't have a counter perspective. That's why I really enjoyed the one-on-one that I had with the Green Gorilla, because he gave his perspective. I gave my perspective. We didn't agree on everything. There were things that we agreed on, but at the end of the day, it was a respectful conversation. And we walked away from it. It was like, okay, well, when you say it like that, I can understand it. Or when you say it like that, I can understand it. But the fact is, although we differed, we were able to have a conversation. And that's good, because now if a viewer watches that, I don't care if they don't like me or if they don't like Green Gorilla, they're going to at least open their mind to have a more less emotionally charged conversation. And I think that we need that, right? So 2022, we got to grow. That's another one of the pieces of advice. Third advice, whenever Black men gather, right? There was the Manosphere meetup. I think there's going to be another one in Houston. Black men should not gather without Black men's or Black male mental health being a part of the conversation. Got to bring in experts. There's no reason for us to be getting together with the state. And I get it, right? There's class dynamics in the Manosphere. Some people probably be like, well, it's only the Pookies who have those problems. Only the Pookies are homeless and mental ill. Like, no. I look at y'all chats. A lot of niggas in y'all chats that are mentally ill. So don't wait until Raji Black happens to want to have a conversation about mental health. Let's introduce the conversation. Let's be preventative, right? Let's try to be proactive. Bring in some resources to help Black men heal spiritually, mentally, physically. Help Black men improve their character as men. Like, if we're going to say we're men, and this is the Manosphere, I think that has to be a part of the conversation. So that's important. We shouldn't be getting together and Black male health, mental health is not a part of the conversation. Black male health in general, but mental health is so important. So that's my third recommendation. And then my last recommendation is this. I think that in order to protect ourselves as a community, Black male content creators should start to move and operate like a community. I think that as individuals looking to deal with the YouTube machine is going to be a lot more difficult. But as a collective, you know, if my channel gets taken down and it shouldn't have been taken down, like I like the way that all the brothers, although they have their little, I say they have their Manosphere Boule, that is what it is. But I like the way that they all came together to support getting the Lapeef network back up. That's what Black men should do. Right? So if I'm a part of this collective, and I'm not trying to join nobody's hierarchical fraternity. That's not what I'm trying to do. But just like the NBA has an NBA Players Association, maybe we have a Black male content creator association. Right? So that in the event that we have to deal with YouTube, our representative can say, hey, listen, this association represents more than 1,000 content creators and an audience of, you know, the size of, in terms of views. Last year, this audience collectively, we had 100 million or 1 billion views, whatever it is. But at least we're a collective. And as a collective, you have a voice on the inside up there, right? I'm sure Kevin Samuels with 1 million subscribers, he can touch somebody at YouTube. But what the point I'm making is that if we form an association and somebody gets their channel taken down for, you know, we know that these algorithms don't always work. Like, I've been flagged for shit that like I didn't even do. And then I try to like say, yo, what you're saying I did is not even, nothing in here goes against the guidelines. Why am I flagged for this? And then they say, well, we reviewed it and we're going to uphold it. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, so I'm just saying, without that protection of the group, regardless of our political or ideological differences, a Black male content creation association, I think it would be beneficial, right? So I'm going to drop the link into the chat, family. I want to go and get a quick drink of water. So I'm going to put the StreamYard link into the chat. But while y'all waiting to pop up, pardon, I'll play some more Bomani. I'll put that Lumumba's Revenge back on.